switches that are right. Keep it safe and make sure there's no fire. Open to YouTube and look for Kids Fire Protection Answers.
Well, all right, we're back again. And this time I've got something interesting for you. I've been working with a lot of older systems recently, and there are some things that are not working on those systems that I had to write up because NFPA says if it doesn't work, it has to be removed. If it's installed, it has to be working. So if you've got an old water motor gong that's clogged up and won't operate, you either need to get it in operational condition or remove it and plug it off. And the reason for this is that if it's installed on the system, it has to work. Why does it have to work? Well, if the only means of an alarm that you have is a water motor gong and you don't have a flow switch, you need to have some sort of an alarm. And that's all going to depend on your fire marshal at that point. Once it's written up, it's probably going to go to them, and they're going to decide what they want you to put in or how they want you to resolve this issue. Now, if you have an old flow switch and you install a new flow switch above it or below it, that flow switch actually has to come out and be replaced by a mechanical T, or the whole pipe needs to be replaced and a new flow switch installed. That is per code. Now, some jurisdictions may allow you to remove the electronic parts in the flow switch and leave it as is, and it should be okay if they say so. But the large majority of them want that removed, want it plugged off with a mechanical T, or the pipe replaced and a new flow switch installed. The code is very clear on this. If it doesn't work, they don't want to see it. If it's there, it has to work. Here's the NFPA code that states that. I've walked into some places where they have a butterfly tamper switch butterfly valve with an OS&Y with a tamper switch, and then another butterfly valve on top of that because it stopped working and they replaced it, and that stopped working, so they replaced it, but instead of replacing it, they just added. No, those have to be removed. Now, if it's a Y system where it comes in, has a control valve, and then splits off and has a control valve for this system and a control valve for this system, that's fine. That's the way that that's supposed to work. However, you could eliminate that third one on the bottom. Does it make it easier for service? Absolutely, because we can isolate that valve and work on both systems and have the entire system isolated. So if that piece of pipe in between goes bad, you have a way to isolate it still. It's a good idea. But then there's the PIV in the yard. Or the backflow. So there are multiple ways to isolate systems that eliminate the need for 3 valves inside the building, right there on top of each other. Yeah. So that's part of the reason. The other part of the reason is that if the fire department shows up, they want whatever's supposed to be working, so that A, it shows them exactly where to go for the riser room. If there's a water motor gong, it's supposed to be working so they know where the riser room is and where the riser is, so they can isolate really quick and go and fix the problem. Alternately, if your flow switch does not work and you replace it with another flow switch, but you leave the old flow switch in place and they're trying to fill the system without setting off the alarm, they don't know what to isolate there because there's 2 flow switches. So they don't know what to disconnect, especially if the wiring's still going to the second flow switch. I walked into one place that had an explosion-proof flow switch and then a regular vane type flow switch on top of that. And then it had a water motor gong that had a pressure type switch on it. So it had 4 flow switches, 4 flow alarms. Guess how many worked? Goose egg, none of them. A, the fire alarm panel was disconnected. B, the water motor gong was clogged up and didn't function. And C, there was no 110, well, no, there was a 110 bell, but the breaker was turned off and the wires were disconnected. So they had no alarm. God only knows how long it had been that way. Yeah. Those are the ones that make your cheeks pucker. Don't like those inspections. You walk up and the battery's disconnected in the fire alarm panel, and you can see the high voltage wires coming into the transformer are cut. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I've had some fun ones. Again, if it's there, it has to work. If it's installed, it has to have a function. I've also walked into office buildings or former warehouses that are now offices, and they've installed these little cube offices that can be picked up with a forklift and moved around. No. I told them you have one of 2 choices. You can either replace the drop ceiling that you have in there that's solid with an open drop ceiling, or you can put in the open grates for that drop ceiling so that the sprinklers above can service that room. Or you can find where you're going to put them and install sprinklers. Lots of places will install rooms and they'll just put up the walls and there's fire sprinklers sitting this close to the wall. No, it has to be minimum of 4 inches away. Or they'll install the wall around the fire sprinkler. No, can't do that. Well, if you have any other of this type of situation where you've got something installed that you have no idea what it does or if it even works, send me pictures, send me videos, send me an email. We'll discuss it, we'll figure it out. And if we need to, we'll make another video. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for tuning in. Send me an email at this address if you have questions, concerns, comments, or you just want to say hi. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Watch the videos in the next segment. And send this channel to those that you think would value the information I'm giving out for free.
When you find your alarm sounds off in the night, don't make mistakes, get answers that are right. Keep it safe and make sure there's no fire. Open to YouTube and look for Kids Fire Protection Answers. Kids Fire Protection Answers. Got questions, he's got answers that make sense. Don't wait the channel to open. Kids Fire Protection Answers.